So we'll start the event now. A very happy morning to everyone. Hope all are doing great and healthy. First of all, I welcome you guys to the first event of GDSC SKCT for this year 2022. I am Samyukta and I am the Women Tech Makers lead at our club. This event is about getting started with graphic design. Today's session will be handled by Mr. Aditya Mishra. He is the Creative Design Associate of GDSC SKCT. After attending this session, you will have an idea about graphic designing, the tools used for it, and a live demo is waiting for you. I hope you guys are excited. Without further ado, now I hand over this to Mr. Aditya Mishra.
Thank you. Hope my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning all. Thank you everyone for being here today at this session. So I am Aditya Mishra. I am a second year CAC student and I am the Creative Design Associate of Google Developer Student Club of our college. So I welcome you all to the session of getting started with graphic design. So the main thing that we are going to see in this session are, firstly, we will see what is graphic design. Then we will see the types of graphic designing. Then we will see the opportunities of being a graphic designer. After that, we will see the roadmap. Roadmap means what are the softwares to use and where to get started. Then I will show you some of the designs that I had made before. Then at last, I will do a practical demonstration in which I will design a poster. And at the end of this event, I will end this event with an announcement of a competition related to this event today. So let's start. First, so what is graphic design? So if you just Google the same thing, this is what you will get. It says graphic design is the art or skill of combining text and pictures in advertisement, magazine, or books. This definition is quite enough to understand what is graphic designing. But in other simple words, we can say graphic designing is actually to make something look better digitally. So then, like these days, we could see very attractive advertisements like this, posters like this, and even packagings are getting beautiful every day. All these are in fact done by a graphic designer. So one of the very good thing about graphic design is that this field is increasing, that is growing every day. Like the need is also growing every day. Like if you just imagine 10 to 15 years ago, graphic designers were used only by big companies and media companies. But these days, even a common man is if even a common man is starting a small shop, he needs a graphic designer to design the banners for his shop, as you can see in this picture. And he also needs a graphic designer to design visiting cards, pamphlets, advertisements, etc. So like this, restaurants also need graphic designers to design the menu these days. So you can talk about any field or any sector. There is always a need for a graphic designer. For example, even the government needs a graphic designer. You might ask why. Like they need a graphic designer to design the posters and pamphlets that we see everywhere, which says the slogan and it gives the schemes that governments are announcing. Like that, other sectors like corporate sector, they also need a graphic designer. In fact, they are the only sector which needs the graphic designer the most. And in advertisement sector, and also in social media sector, they need a graphic designer to design posts, etc. And even you can tell that a YouTuber also needs a graphic designer these days to design thumbnails for their video. But one of the most important thing about graphic design is that a graphic designer with his or her designs needs to do these three things. First, his or her design should attract, which means the designs that are going to be made needs to attract the attention of the viewers or the consumers in the first view. Once after attract, it should also intrigue them. Like once the customer is attracted towards the design, it should intrigue, which means it should also make them curious to know about it, to know more about it. Like for example, just imagine you are walking in a supermarket and you see a very attractive package. The first thing you get attracted, and the next thing you want to do is to know about it. That is basically what attract and intrigue means. Once they have attracted and intrigued through design, the design should also deliver a message. So actually you can see that these three concepts are the basic concepts how everything in this world is marketed. Even a toothpaste, from a small toothpaste to a smartphone. Second topic. So what are the types of graphic designing? So I have actually listed them into two types. First, two types based on their application. First, the non-technical graphic design, and second, the technical graphic design. So first, in non-technical graphic design, as the name suggests, in non-technical graphic designs contains the basic designs that we see around us, like the social media post ads we see around us every day, then packagings, then movie posters and music albums also, and also finally in magazine and many other things. So these non-technical graphic designs are mostly used in media and marketing industry. Then technical graphic design. So as the name suggests, it contains all the basic designs that have a technical use, such as the general user interface of any apps or website. It is done by a graphic designer, but since it has a technical use, I have made it under technical graphic design. So then technical graphic design is a lot different from non-technical graphic designing because it has a lot of science and art behind those designs. For example, like while designing a UI of any app, the designer not only looks at the designs of the app, like not the user interface of the app. They also think about the usability of app, like how this app will be used. Is it going to be easy to use by the user, or it is going to be hard? So according to that, they have to decide the design of the UI. So, and they also have to make it clear that the design should give a good experience to the viewer or the user as well. So that is why you can see every time user interface developer are linked to user interface and user experience developers. So then we will see what are the things that are required if you want to start graphic designing. Like if you are really interested in starting graphic designing, these are the few key points that it might help you. So if you are basically like, if you are good in drawing or painting, etc., then graphic designing will be very easy for you, because as you are good in drawing and painting, you will have a basic understanding of colors and shapes and many other things. So basically it makes it easier for you to grab the concepts of graphic designing and to make the thing that you were making physically to make it digitally. So then even if you're not that good in graphic design, even if you're not that good in drawing or painting, you can still improve your graphic designing skills with a little bit of practice, because actually the graphic designing is easier as compared to physical drawing or physical painting, because we don't need much skills here. We have every tool for everything here. So, but whether you are good at drawing or not, there is one more very important concept for in graphic designing, that is creative design thinking. As the name suggests, it is the creativity of a person to design, to think of a design. And it has 4 basic ideas, like it is nothing but what color to use when, and what background to use for the design, what are the designs that we are going, patterns and designs we are going to use, and the most important thing, the fonts. The fonts are like mostly every designer gets struck at this point, like what fonts to use. Then other than this, in this journey, there are 4 very main important elements which one should master if you are going to pursue graphic designing in order to make very good designs. Like they are shape, color, texture. Texture means shadows and minute details. Then at last, typography. So typography means the styling of fonts and etc., as you can see in the image. So okay, there are these are going to be the most important things to start to have this idea of these four important elements before starting graphic designing, and understanding them exactly, when to use what and how much is very important to make good designs. Like which color you should use, which type of font you should use, and how much shadows or how much texture you should give to your designs will decide the entire look of your design. Like I have given an example here. As you can see this, I have made this poster recently. As you can see this, if I just change the background color of this image, the look of this poster changes entirely. As you can see, it was, as you can see the change in the look here. Similarly, if I just remove the shadows, as you can see the shadows here, if I just remove the shadows here and there, again the look changes. And if I change the style of the font, again the look changes here. So basically the idea here is, with these four elements only, any basic graphic designing is made. Like it makes the graphic designing to look good. The combination of all these four elements will decide the appearance of your graphic designing. It can be good or bad, but these are the four most important elements in graphic designing, which are shape, color, type, texture, and typography. So, and like while if you are going to start graphic designing, like while in the initial stages of graphic designing, websites like Pinterest will help you a lot. Like for inspiration, you can, like before, while starting, you will not have that much idea what to design and how to design. You can just go to Pinterest and search for graphic designing images. You can just copy them and remake it in the web, in the softwares that I'm going to say in further. So personally, Pinterest had also helped me a lot when I started with graphic designing. I used to just copy the designs and used to remake them. It will actually give a basic idea to you to what colors and what colors and what patterns to use. So while starting opportunities. So while starting any skill, like if you are learning any skill, one of the most important thing that you should know is about the opportunities behind that skill. Like if there is no opportunities behind any skill, then there is no point in learning them. So graphic design actually has a very large variety of opportunities. Like if you learn graphic designing, I have listed some of the works that graphic designers do. Like first, brand and identity designer. As the name suggests, in this field, the work of the graphic designer will be to create logos, visiting cards, pamphlets, t-shirts for their employees, and many other things, which represents and delivers the message of a company. And then a graphic designer can also be in marketing and ad agency as a designer. In this, they basically make the templates that you see while driving in the road. You see very big pamphlets and very big hoardings. These are in fact done by a graphic designer. So then in packaging and design industry, you can be a packaging designer. Like as the name suggests, you just know what it is, designing the packages for food items for any product. So then you can also be a print designer. In print designer involves designing for books, magazines, newspapers, and basically any other print medias. And then comes graphic illustrator designer. This is the most used graphic designing thing in graphic design industry. Like it is basically to make vector images. Vector images are nothing but just cartoon images to make digital art. Mostly softwares like Illustrator are used in this. As you can see in the image, drawings like this are made using this Illustrator app. So these are actually to create digital art for various domains, like for apps, for websites, for books, for magazines. As you can see in everything, there will be a small cartoons images that they are in fact done in, they in fact come under this graphic illustrator designer. Then at last, UI UX designer. So as you might know what is UI UX designer. So actually in this, the graphic designer designs a prototype, how the app or website is going to look after it is getting developed. Like the development of the app, basic idea of development of the app is actually given by a developer, but the designs and how the looks of the apps are going to be are actually in fact done by a UI UX designer. So they actually prototype it before making the app. After the app is prototyped by them. Referring to that, the developers then work according to it. For example, you can see, you will be shocked to know that in India, a UI UX designer gets paid as much as a basic app developer gets paid. So if you are actually weak in coding and are not much interested in coding, but still wants to get into this technical field, you can go with UI UX designing. It is basically, it is not that hard, but with practice, you can master it very easily. So at last, this is the one of the main topic, like where you need to get started, the roadmap, where you need to start. Like before giving you the roadmap, let me show you some of the softwares to be used as a graphic designer. So first, as you all know, the most important and most famous software in the market is Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. So it is one of the most strongest software in the market now. You can do basically everything in Photoshop. Like you can change the face of a person, you can change the color, you can do color grading, that is enhancing the colors of any image. You can do basically everything in Photoshop. Oh, then the next app software is Adobe Illustrator. So Adobe Illustrator is like Photoshop, but it makes some works easy, like making cartoon images. It is very easier to make it in Adobe Illustrator than in Photoshop. So actually, when we need to make designs like logos or like product designs, etc., and graphic arts, mostly we use Adobe Illustrator. Like if you are going to actually start graphic designing, just the knowledge of Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator is enough to get started initially. And it will just take 2 to 3 weeks to know the basics of both of these apps. And I will save the courses that you can refer after this. Then comes Adobe XD, and this software is used to make prototypes of user interface of apps and websites. Then Canva. So you might have known what is Canva. It is a web-based software. So it is one of the easiest way to make posters, flyers, visiting cards, in fact any other thing, because it doesn't require you to learn a certain skills like we need to learn in Photoshop. You don't require to learn about the tools, but in Photoshop or Illustrator, first you need to know about the tools and their function. But Canva is basically a drag and drop software where every designs are already made. You just need to combine them to make it look better. It might not be useful like for very big designs, but for easy and fast designs, it is one of the most powerful and very useful software out there. But one of the biggest problem like it comes is Photoshop, Illustrator, and are basically paid apps. But there are still you can still find some cracked versions in online. Like there is a website known as getintopc.com where you can basically find the cracked versions of Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. And if you want to pay, you can pay, but the cost is very high for monthly. It is like from 700 to 1,000 rupees to use just the softwares of Adobe. So now next, coming to the courses that you need to learn if you are going to start graphic designing. So actually you can find basically everything that you need for any software basically for free in YouTube. But if you need to have a very better understanding of or deep understanding of the concepts, you can also go for courses in Udemy, which comes around 300 to comes in the range around 300 to 500 rupees. And these are the courses that actually helped me when I was starting. So you can take a screenshot of this if you want. So as you can see here, Piximperfect will help you a lot if you are going to start Photoshop. They don't have a tutorial like from episode to episode. They will have projects. You can learn through practical demonstrations here in Piximperfect. And Satori Graphics, this is useful if you are going to learn Illustrator, the software Illustrator. And similarly, this both are for Photoshop and Illustrator, as you can see. Then at last, So finally, there are some of the graphic designs that actually I had made before. These are some of the graphic designs I had made. Hope you guys liked it. So at last, as I said, I will do a practical demonstration. And in practical demonstration, I will be going to show you how I made this poster, as you can see here. So I will be using two softwares here. First, let's go to, is my screen visible? So as you can see, we are going to make this poster here from this image. So actually we need to first separate this shoe from the background. So for that we use a tool named as lasso tool. What it does basically is it cuts out the image that we want. So first we will just trace out this shoe roughly. You don't need to do it very precisely. You can just roughly trace it out. So as you can see, I had traced it out, and now it is like it is. I have cut it out from the image. Now we have to just copy it and paste it in a new artboard. So where we will do the further process, that is just we will need to erase all this. We can do it by the eraser tool first, as it is easy to erase these colors which are little far away from the product. So we will use a eraser of a larger size, like big size like this. So first we will just erase it roughly, without, like, make sure that you are not getting into the product. So this will actually harm a lot. So you can use Control Z if you do some mistakes like this. So first I will just erase the excess background that we just made it. So you can do it. It will take a lot of time. So once you have erased it roughly, so things like these corners will be a little hard for you to erase, but still you can use a smaller size to erase it, like this. I'm going to use for corners like this. You should use a size of 1, so that you can erase it by pixel like this. There are many other options also to separate a product from the background, but they might not be that effective than this. This will take a lot of time, but it is more effective than any other method. So as you can see, we have to erase it without erasing the product here. So as you can see, places like this will be very hard to erase. So for that, we have to use a single pixel eraser, and we have to erase it pixel by pixel. Basically, any red color you see, any red pixel, you have to erase it. Then here we will take a size of under 10. But still I can't erase here, so we will take a size below 5. I'm taking here a radius of 3. So I have erased it roughly. Then for corners, as I said, I'm going to use eraser of single pixel. So like this, you can erase it pixel by pixel. It will take a lot of time. So I had already erased it and made it clear here. So as you can see, there is no more background like the red color. As you can see here, there is no more red color around the product. I have mostly erased it all, but you can still see some of the red here. So I will use so I have to go pixel by pixel to erase them all. I think it looks fine now. So once it is done, we will just export this file, and here we will ex, we will export it as a PNG file. PNG file means like in PNG there will be no background for this image. You can see in Illustrator. Like I will export it. I will name it as shoe. Now the work of Photoshop is done here. Like we use Photoshop just to make this, just to separate this shoe from the background. So now we will come to Illustrator. So I had already taken, like I had taken this artboard, and the size of this, the dimensions are 2500 into 3508. This is practically good for posters. And I had also taken the design that I made earlier as a reference, as you can see here. Like in Illustrator, there are basically just main three tools that you will be using mostly. First one is the selection tool, that is this one that I have it, the arrow, as you can see. Next is the brush tool. Brush tool is used to just design, to draw stuffs. Then there is the pen tool. Pen tool is to create any designs you want, any curves you want of anything. So basically, mostly you will be using just these three tool: selection tool, pen tool, and brush tool. So now we will just import the shoe that we just saved here. So as you can see, there is no background for the shoe now. So I will just copy it and paste it in this artboard. But you can see in this that the shoe is facing towards the left. So I will just use a tool named as transform, in which I will just reflect it vertically, which means it will give a mirror image of that. Like before it was like this. Now after transforming, it will give us a mirror image. So let's increase the size a little bit. We will make it the center till top. So now we will name this layer as shoe. So the initial product, we have placed the product here, and you can see the shoe is little tilted to upward. So we will just tilt it over. Looks fine now, I guess. So then we will give a background to this image. We'll use layer, and we will just name it as background. For background, let's hide the shoe for a bit. Now for background, I will draw a rectangle. So I am using gradient here to give a little details. Like if I don't use gradient, it will be like there will be no shadows or a reflection. Let's imagine that light is coming through this side. So this side will be a little glarish, and this side will give the shadow. So I'm going to give a little dark shade here. And here we will give red. And here we will give a maroon, a dark red color. So as you can see, there is a little bit of texture now. But if I didn't use, I will just, you can see the difference. If I didn't use any texture, just a single color, there will be a lot of difference. Just red. You can see the difference here. Just make the shoe appear. You can see the difference if I use this and if I use this. So we'll just delete it. So then once the background is done, the next thing we will see here is the pattern behind the shoe. As you can see, these are the things that are, like as I said earlier, the four elements: shapes, textures, and color. So now we will give some shapes, that is patterns, to this. You can give any pattern that you want. So I'm just giving that pattern. As you can see, it appears like a square with some pieces cut out in between them. So I'll just hide this and create a new layer, name it as pattern. So first, now I will create a square. Just place it in center. So to get To get pattern like that, first we have to create another rectangle, and I will rotate it to 45 degrees and just place it here. As you can see, the white spots, that is basically the entire design as in this image. But we need to separate, we need to divide all of this. So I will use in tool name as divide tool in Pathfinder in properties. This will do this. What this does is this will separate every shape like this. You can see it has separated every shapes. So these are basically waste, like waste out of this pattern. So we got a similar looking pattern like here, as you can see. So just delete all these leftovers. Group them. Now I will add some, as you can see in this image, there are some patterns here as well. And you can see there is another square type of pattern like this pattern. So first we will create that. That is basically a copy of this. So just drag it here and make it small. And as you can see here, it is not very opaque. The color is not solid. It is like little faded. So for that, we will just need to decrease the opacity. Opacity means it will decrease the transparency level. As you can see here, now the opacity is 21. If I make it 0, it will not be visible. So we will just give it a very small opacity just for design. Place it above. So then we need to give some shapes in the sides like this. So for that pattern, we will use it from here itself. You can design like you can do anything. It is not compulsory to do like this. So I will do whatever is nice now. You can basically place any pattern that you want. So for this side, you see we have got something which is different from the pattern here. They have got something. So now we will give a little texture. Like texture means adding some details to it. We will do it by adding some shadows to the pattern here. So I will create another layer and name it as shadow pattern. Shadow for pattern. So here we will create shadows for this. We can create for every other pattern here, but mostly I will create just for this because it will take a lot of time if I do shadow for all them. So for shadow, as you know, shadow, you just copy the same image that you want a shadow of it. Just cut it and paste it in the shadow layer. So as you know, the shadow will be in black color. And we will decrease the first we will place it like it is a shadow. Like as I said, the light is coming through here. So the shadow will be a little backwards. So we will just decrease the transparency level. Now it looks like a shadow, I guess. So like this, you can add texture to any pattern here. Like let's add pattern shadows for this. We'll copy here and paste it here. I will decrease the transparency. So like this, you can do it for every other shape. So there is no point of giving shadow to these patterns because it is already black. So the shadow will be not be that visible. So as you can see, our poster is quite ready now. So the next thing we need to do is to add some, okay, we need to add some text. Before that, we will add some shadow to the shoe. So for shoe, now we will use pen tool, as you can see. As I said, pen tool is used to create shapes that we want. So before creating shadow, we will create a shadow layer for the shoe and we will name it as. So as you can see, I will give a shadow like which appears to be like this. So I will just create a shape around the shoe. And now I will decrease the transparency level to make it look like a shadow. Yes, it looks like a shadow now, a little bit. So as the detailing is over, now I will give some text. As I said, the font style also is very crucial for any design. We'll name this layer as text. As you can see, this is a Nike shoe. I will give a name as Nike. I will use a different font to make it look better. Just place it here. I will change the color to white. So then we need also the name of this product here. Give white color. So the text is done. We will add some shadows to the text as well to make it look even better. We'll create another layer and name it as text shadow. So the process is same. But first we need to copy it and paste it in the shadow layer. We'll give it black color. We will place it behind the image and we will decrease the transparency level. As you can see, looks nice now. So then for this also we are going to create a shadow. First we will copy and paste it in the shadow layer. You can place the shadow anywhere you want, like anything. I'll just place it here. Like as the light is coming through here, the shadow should come backwards like this. So it looks quite nice. As you can see, if I remove just the shadows of everything, the look changes. So if I add it again, then the look changes. So that is what the importance of texture here. So, but still you can see there are some parts that are actually outside of this poster. So there is a tool name as a tool. So there is a concept known as mask clipping in Illustrator, which it will just delete any shape that is outside of this image of this shape. Like if I select it all, it will be mask. So as you can see, every other thing that were outside of that rectangle are now deleted. So yeah, so this is how I made. So the practical demonstration is done here. So we forgot to add, so we can see some white space here. I forgot to add the logo here, so I will add the logo. So our poster is done. You can export it. Any file you need, I'm going to export it as SHU1. You can export it as JPG or PNG, it is your wish. So then coming to the topic. So that was it, guys. Hope you guys liked it and knew a little bit about the tools of Photoshop and Illustrator. So as I said, I will announce a competition in the end of this event. So the competition is you will be getting a drive link of this image, as you can see here, the same image that I just edited in Photoshop and Illustrator to make a poster. So all you need to do is to if you want to participate, you have to use this image and create a poster like I did. It did not to be similar to what I had created. You can use your own creativity. You can use your own color for background, or you can use your own patterns. Like as I said, you can refer Pinterest or any other platform for ideas. So you will be if you want to participate in the competition, you will be getting a form by today evening, maximum by 3 o'clock. So just register in that form, and you will find the drive link over there. I will also send you the link of the cracked versions of Photoshop and Illustrator. You can find it in the link. You can just download it over there, and you can get started with graphic designing. So one of the winners of this poster making will be announced on February 1. The competition starts today and will be ending on February 1 sharply. So the first three members whose designs are very good, theirs will be uploaded in our social media handles, and all other participants will also get a participation certificate. Only the participation in the competition, not in this event. And the winners will also get a winner certificate. So this will, as I said, this will end on February 1. You have to use this image that will be given to you in the drive link, and you have to create your own posters. So hope you guys liked it, and if you have any queries or any questions regarding this, you can always contact me. Thank you.
Guys, if anybody has any questions, you can put it in the chat box now.
So I will just send the link for all the softwares that I used. You will get a cracked link. You can just download it from there. I will send it through the form link that you will be getting today by evening. If you have any other queries, you can contact me in WhatsApp.
Guys, thanks for attending this session.